Hi, this is Virag from Bionic Buzz, and today we are here on the Asian Pacific Film Festival in Los Angeles downtown. So Silent River,
Yes.
it was one of the most mysterious films I ever seen. I never knew what's going on in this movie, and the topic is sci-fi a little bit, or it's fiction. But so how did the whole idea came from?
It has sort of a supernatural, surrealist quality as the film progresses, right? Um, really, like, I have several projects I've been trying to make in recent years, and when I had the opportunity to do Silent River more immediately, it was because I was able to build a team and that we could do the film on sort of limited resources, you know? So I had certain things I had direct access to that I knew I could make the film, and it was really about reverse engineering the project. So what I mean is, if you could do everything in the world to make a movie, it's too much, right? Too many choices. But for an artist to have limitations and boundaries, it's actually very liberating. And I've been working as a filmmaker for many years now. I made my first feature film back in 1997, an Asian American project called Yellow, about a group of Asian American teens in Los Angeles. And throughout the years, I've just been constantly developing my craft, writing scripts, working in post-production as an editor, directing other short projects. And I feel like I've been able to sort of learn a lot in the process throughout the years. So I had a lot of new tools in my vocabulary that I wanted to use for the film. You know, I wanted to try to go for something that, for our team, was a very ambitious project that maybe is sort of fresh, you know, coming from the voices of our creative team. So that was really the genesis of the project.
Okay, and why did you choose Pete and P2, white character? Because we are in the Asian Pacific Film Festival now, and I think the movie could work with any type of race, but you choosing a white man for that.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to depict diversity in the film, and because a lot of the issues that are explored in the film are really more from a very human perspective, right? The people of color that are involved, we're going to bring our life experiences to the interpretation anyways. The reason why I wanted Max to play P2, the actor, is I had actually worked with him on my second feature, Undoing, which we shot back in 2006. That's when we shot it. We released it a couple years later. But we were never able to film his character, but I always remember what an outstanding actor he was. And if you watch the film in Silent River, P2, the interpretation of that character is very challenging. And it's something that is not really familiar, because his character, without giving out any spoilers, has, you know, a very unique sort of origin, right? So we need a really skilled actor who's very in control of his physicality and his voice, and Max just expressed it perfectly for the role. So, yeah.
All of your characters are really like introverted persons. So this is such a conflict when as they meet. How did you lead? How did you give instructions for? I mean, this is the right one. So how did you lead your characters or your actors on the set? Was it difficult?
Yeah, I really love the challenge of film of expressing the internal condition without having to say too many dialogues or without having to do too much exposition, right? And I think the real key on set is you have to kind of keep things simple. You know, it's like, okay, your character wants to do this, or your character is trying to do something, but you're going to get a surprise, you know, and just keep things very fundamental for the actors to react to. But the flip side of that is you have to build a team of actors, which is why I wanted to work with Max, which is like why I wanted to work with West and Amy and Chandra and Dakota, is your actors need to take ownership of their role, you know. They don't, you know, of course I'm going to give them direction and maybe make adjustments and that kind of thing, but you want them to have the ideas of how their characters are going to behave. Once you have those early discussions about trying to decide on certain fundamental aspects of your characters, but then at that point, somewhere along the line, your actor has to take charge of how they're going to exist, in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The silent movie, what movie is this? Well, how you call it? Is it an art movie or a sci-fi or fiction, or so? How would you call this silent?
I think Silent River is really for cinema lovers. It forces the audience to engage in the story. You can't be a passive viewer, right? There are things about it that may sort of suggest genre films, but really it's very unconventional. It really creates its own world, and and hopefully it's interesting enough to the viewer to kind of sit up and to get their mind engaged to interpret what's happening, So that's really what we made the film for us. We made a film that we wanted to see as lovers of film and cinema, right? And so hopefully there'll be other people out there that it resonates with as well.
Also, the photography is really nice in this movie. It's more like the colors are more warm. And so, how did you prepare for this with the camera operators or DP?
As the reality. As the reality of the film sort of evolves, as the story progresses, things get more strange, and we built a strategy of
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. We built a strategy of changing the color palette, as the story progresses, and I was very lucky to have a really great director of photography, Norbert Shea, who really worked with me to make these. Come up with the concepts and the approach, And Norbert's here too. It'd be great if you could talk to him if you have time. But the visuals were very important because the camera also serves a role in the film in terms of being a narrator. Mm-hmm. It has an independent eye. Sometimes the camera's moving, while the character is still. And so we wanted that sense of another presence in the room at all times.
Okay, so congratulations for the movie and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.